law, and so Christmas Eve afternoon we went to church, and it was a rather liberal Christian church, and it was very nice. They did, however, talk a lot about the resurrection and the redeeming power of Jesus, and talked a lot about being born again. So that sort of goes along with our theme of begin again. But I have a different story that I want to share with you about being born again. And it's a story told by Francine Christopher, who is a Jewish educator. And she was born in 1933. And when she was 8 years old, she was sent to a concentration camp. And because she was French, there was some kind of situation or circumstance that allowed the French Jews to take a thing or so. So some people took pictures, photographs. Some people took maybe a little jewelry that was sentimental to them. And her mother took 2 pieces of chocolate. And her mother said to her, Francine, I have this chocolate, and when things become intolerable for you, then I will give you a piece of chocolate to lift you up. So they were in the concentration camp quite a long time. And her mother would check with her every once in a while. Francine, how are you doing? Are you okay? Yes, Mama, I'm fine. So there was a woman there who was pregnant, and she was so frail, so starved, that you could hardly tell that she was pregnant. And then her time came to deliver this baby, and the Nazis sent her off to the hospital. And Francine's mom said, how are you doing, Francine? Mama, I'm fine. I'm okay. So the mother said, I'm going to give this woman a piece of chocolate to lift her up, because she may not make it through the delivery. And so Francine's mom gave this woman who was pregnant, getting ready to deliver, a piece of chocolate. Well, she did live. And the baby also lived. But for 6 months, Francine reported, the baby made no sound. No sound. She didn't wail. She didn't cry. She made no sound for 6 months. And then the Allies came. For 6 months, this child made no sound at all. When the Allies came, they unwrapped this baby, and she screamed bloody murder. She screamed her lungs out when she was unwrapped. And Francine said, that was the birth of that baby. That was a rebirth, a beginning again. Well, to complete the story, many, many, many years later, Francine is 83 now. Many years later, Francine's daughter said to her, they had gone back to France from wherever their concentration camp was, and I don't know where it was. They had gone back to France, and this little baby had also gone back to France. But many years later, Francine's daughter said to her, Mama, do you think that if you had had psychiatry or psychotherapy or some sort of therapy that things would have been better for you and other detainees after being released from the concentration camp. And Francine, who was an educator, said, that is a very interesting question. So she said, I think that I will put a lecture series together, and we'll address that question. What about therapy for these detainees? And she said, Francine said that she was astonished at the number of people that had responded, that had come to this lecture series on therapy and psychotherapy for the detainees and what the ramifications may have been. And is it too late for people who, now the survivors are in their 80s, most of them, certainly their late 70s. Would that help now at this late date? So they had the conference, and toward the end of it, one woman stepped up, and she said, I'm a psychotherapist, and I live in Marseille. And she said, before I start my lecture, I want to give Francine a gift. And she pulled a piece of chocolate out of her purse, her pocket, and she said, I am that baby that was reborn. Isn't that a swell story? So we can be reborn at any time. John Seeger says this: we convince ourselves that life will be better after we get married, have a baby, then another. Then we're frustrated that the kids aren't old enough, and we'll be more content when they're older. After that, we're frustrated that we have teenagers to deal with. We certainly will be happier when they are out of that stage. We tell ourselves that our life will be complete when our partners get their act together. When we have a nicer car, are able to go on a nice holiday, we'll be happy when we retire. The truth is, there's no better time to be happy than right now. This is the time to be happier. Your life will always be filled with challenges. It's best to admit this to yourself and to decide to be happy anyway. So as our happy group agrees, it's a matter of living from happiness. And we can make that decision at any time. We don't have to have some spiritual epiphany, because they're far and few between. We can be happy and make a choice to start again, to begin again at any time that you want. Alfred Sinsa said, for a long time, it has seemed to me that life was about to begin, real life. But there was some obstacle in the way, something to be gotten through first, some unfinished business. Time will be served, or a debt to be paid. Then life would begin. At last it dawned on me that these obstacles were my life. That perspective has helped me to see that there's no way to happiness, as we know in the happiness group. Happiness is the way. So stop waiting until you lose 10 pounds, until you gain 10 pounds, until you have kids, until your kids leave the house, until you start work. until you retire, until you get married, until you get divorced, until Friday night, until Sunday morning, until you get a new car or home, until winter, until your song comes on, until you've had a drink. There's no better time than right now. My first husband, bless his heart, wished and waited his life away. The grass was always greener somewhere else. The job was always better somewhere else. He lived from this perspective that things would always get better. Always get better. And he would wait until things got better before he would start his life. And it was so clear for me, so easy for me to see that in him. But I suspect I'm blind to those places for myself. I'm blind to the places within myself that I'm waiting for things to get better. So I tell myself this moment, I tell you this moment, now is the time to begin. Now is the time to live your life. And the obstacles and the problems and the difficulties are your life. And so many problems and obstacles and difficulties are our blessings. We've said it a time and time again, and each one of us has seen in our lives that the hard, rough places, the difficulties, the icky stuff, in retrospect, is the gift. It's the motivation to make change, to move. We never move forward when things are going smoothly. We only move forward in the friction, in the confusion, in the minutia of life. We need the obstacles to kind of drop kick us forward. Drop kick us into an awareness that this is our life. Every minute of every day is a chance to begin again. How many of you remember when you were a kid and you would be playing games outside? I don't remember what, maybe jump rope or maybe jacks or maybe baseball or whatever. And some kid would always say, "Oh, give me a do-over." Remember? I want a do-over. I need a do-over. You know, in golf, they've got the mulligan, right? Life is a do-over. You can decide to do over at any moment. You always get the do-over. It's free. Just do it over. Life can be a mulligan. Howard Hunter, who's the former president of the LDS Church, said this: "Now is the time to mend a quarrel. Seek out a forgotten friend. Dismiss suspicion and replace it with trust. Write a letter. Give a soft answer. Keep a promise. Forgo a grudge. Forgive an enemy. Apologize. Try to understand. Examine your demands on others. Think first of someone else. Be kind. Be gentle. Laugh a little more. Express your gratitude. Welcome a stranger. Gladden the heart of a child. Take pleasure in the beauty and the wonder of the earth. Speak your love. Speak your love. And speak it again. And speak it again. There's a wonderful phrase, I think maybe I shared it not too long ago, about abandoning your past. Abandon your past. We don't need to carry all of that icky stuff around with us that limits our definition of ourselves, limits our life, that holds us in place and waiting for whatever it is that we feel makes our life incomplete. Let it all go. Abandon it. Begin again. Right this minute. Whatever it is that you've seen as an obstacle in your life, bless it for the gift that it brings to you. Begin again. Right now, this moment. Choose this moment to be reborn in a way that allows you to flourish and grow and feel blessed. Because as we say in our final meditation or final affirmation, life just the way it is and just the way it is not. Thank you, life. Because life is always that complicated confusion of good and more good. Because whatever we call bad, whatever we label as bad, is only our perspective. And whatever is bad is a gift to us. So thanking it for the gift. Begin again. And so I wish you all a wonderful week in preparation for the new year. And next, and I'll remind you of this again later, next New Year's Eve, we'll have our intention setting service. So I invite you to come and let go of all of the obstacles that you have labeled and called bad in your life. And set your intention for the upcoming year. And reminding you that that is a powerful, powerful service. It's powerful to just get clear on what your intention is and knowing that the universe supports you and being born again. So I love you all. Namaste. I would invite the practitioners to join me and hold the consciousness while we hold this community in prayer. So I move within. To that deep place within where the divine resides. That deep place within where the present is all there is. In that place where the divine resides within each one of us, that still, quiet place, knowing that there is no past, there is no future, there is only this moment. And I bloom into that moment of now, that moment of the presence. Where I am loved and supported, where I am the beloved, sitting with the beloved. allow all obstacles to disappear. This is the moment. All channels are open. This is the moment that the universe says yes to me. Says yes to me. This is the moment where the universe supports my life in all ways. This is the moment where I can turn within, where I can be aware of the blessings of the divine. This is the moment of my rebirth. My blooming and expansion into the divine life. All obstacles disappear. In this moment, I am one with all that is. And I am content beyond measure. Because I understand it's God and me. There is no other. There's not God and you, God and them. There's God that weaves around and through all things, that is all there is. So I allow myself to allow the divine to blossom and bloom and begin again right this moment through me, as I know that all is well. It cannot be other. And with deep gratitude, deep abiding gratitude, I claim that for myself. And I claim it for you. The rich knowing of love and support of the beloved one. And I give thanks for it. And I claim it, knowing that it is done. And I invite you to know that